What's the proposition of this workshop? On each table, you can find 4 big pillars, very well designed, as you can see. What are these pillars? These pillars are the pillars that we are submitting to you as the pillars that will sustain your own strategy, your own innovation strategy in your university. You can see we have assets. We need assets in order to build a strategy. We need teachers' engagement strategies. We have talked a lot about how we can overcome the teachers' resistances. We need tools for monitoring, evaluating, that can make we able to improve what we will done. And for sure, we need innovation drivers. Paul Basic is not here. I am sure that if he were here, he should say about money. Where are money? So don't care about money. We will talk after about money in the second part of the workshop. Now please let your imagination flow. Try to describe how these pillars can be filled with the bricks that can help you in building your own strategy. So we have 2 set of bricks for each table. You can decide where these bricks have to be put, because some is evident that are assets or teachers' engagement strategies. Other can be played as a tool, as innovation drivers, as asset, also in another pillars. If you need other bricks in order to characterize your pillar, please write it in the post-it and put it wherever you think it's better. That we are already able to move at the following phase. You are going to receive some stickers, and you will be able to change your stickers in money. So you have to put your stick on the source of this money. Which kind of sources we have here? We have internal university funds, if you want to take funds from your own university, or private funds, if you want to try to go outside and ask money and ask for money to companies, banks, obviously, and so on. Governmental national funds, regional or local funds, EU international funds, okay? So you just put one of your stick, for example, on regional funds, and you take a coin from regional funds. If you want to take a coin from private funds, you put your stick on private funds. Please put the stickers where do you think that is reasonable in the reality that you can find money, okay? Not our wishes. Come back to your own table so we can go ahead with our activity. So you have built your own pillars, you have changed your money. Each of you has to decide in which pillar he wants to put his own money. And before to put his money, he has to explain to other people at the table why he has decided to put the money like that. Okay? So good news, very good news. Our banks have found so much money, and they want to do a donation to our universities in order to sustain their digitalization strategy. So, each table will gain some new money, but you have to decide together as a table on which brick, not pillars. We are now thinking about single bricks, okay? I am very happy that even if you are very tired at this fifth day, we had a very good and interesting discussion. Some tables more active, some tables less active, but anyway, a lot of decisions, a lot of ideas. So that's the moment of sharing. So please, we need to know what each table has produced.
We took the decision, let's start with innovation drivers, which has 13 points, 13, not points, coins. The more coins are on teachers' engagement strategies, and the extra coins goes to learning analytics. Yes, so just briefly that we decide that teachers' engagement strategy has 19 coins. Then we have innovation drivers with 13, and then monitoring and evaluation with assets with 11. So those are quite close, that's quite standing in front. Then we decided that the brick, which is more interesting for us, is learning analytics. And also we had learning analytics on almost, with the exception of assets, in all the things. So learning analytics is not just an innovation driver or a monitoring evaluator, but it's also good for strategy development, okay? So we gave the extra coins to learning analytics.
Good. And which bricks in teachers' engagement strategies?
What are the bricks?
Yes.
Okay, so good practices, evaluation and sharing,
Thank you.
MOOCs, teachers training, peer evaluation of teaching practices, and career incentives.
Very good, very good. And why learning analytics is in teacher engagement strategies?
Learning analytics, as I said, is also on innovation drivers.
Yes.
It's also in teacher engagement strategies and also in monitoring evaluation. Because we decided that this is not just for monitoring and evaluating what you have already done, but based on the data which you have, you can build up predictions, which will help you to build up new strategies, also for teacher engagement and also student engagement, obviously. But it can be a very strong innovation driver because it will allow you to say where is needed what and what you can put. And in my opinion, I would have put it also on assets, because at the end you can decide based on that what sort of, how to say, soft assets you will need. Not necessarily buildings and laboratories or something like that, but other sorts of assets you will need.
As you see, we have put more or less all our money for innovation drivers.
Innovation drivers, so the table of innovators. Very
Yes.
good.
We have for monitoring evaluation, we had 13 in the first round, and for teacher engagement strategies, we have 20, and for assets we had 9, and for innovation and drivers, we had 35. So already there was a...
Very different.
Yes.
This one, yes.
And then we got some extra money from somewhere. So we had first some discussion about that. It was about strategy and towards the fourth industrial revolution, and about learn to know your students and your learners. And it was also about career incentives and funds for teachers, those 4. Mm-hmm. So it was quite hard, because, so we had to vote. And we had it for those 4, and each of us had 2 votes. So it ended up that the strategy and the fourth industrial revolution, it had 6, and learn to know your learners had 7, and for career we had 4, and for funds 1. So it was a very clear majority for innovation and drivers.
So the 2 main pillars we chose were, the first one is the engagement of teachers, which is not surprising because we had a lot of teachers at the table who gave us the benefit of their experience. And the second pillar, which is also very important, especially in regard with our preferred brick, is monitoring and evaluation, which we found fundamental for giving good supporting elements for decision-making bodies, which is important for implementing a strategy. And for the preferred brick, it's something that was not in the list of available bricks. It's having the benefit of a clearly defined strategy and a smart governance behind it. In the preferred pillars, they're quite classical. It's funding, support, career incentives, training centers, communities of practice. So.
But IPR is
IPR,
your own production.
intellectual property rights.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
set a shared strategy, a clear and a shared strategy about IPR, isn't it? Or what?
No, IPR is one of the elements. It's about protecting, evaluating, giving value to the resources produced by the teacher by recognizing his...
At this moment, you can start to eat your money if you want, because the most voted pillars was the innovation drivers by the group 2 that get really a lot of points. But we have seen the most voted pillars in general on innovation drivers and teaching engagement. What's the teachers' engagement strategies for this table?
So we had good practices, evaluation and sharing. We made an extra one for learning analytics and MOOCs, and teachers training, peer evaluation of teaching practices, and career incentives. Okay.
Anybody else has put MOOC as a strategy for teachers' engagement? No, but is anyway a very good suggestion for everybody. Who has done something different from there? No MOOC, no learning analytics, but something else. Career incentives, teacher communities of practice, teaching learning centers, funds for teachers, give visibility, recognition of the work of the teachers. Here I see something different, that is teaching learning centers played not as assets, not as innovation drivers, but as tools for teachers' engagement.
I think that teacher learning center, as we thought about it, is a place where teacher can also exchange experiences, so also a way to share good practices, and so creating a sharing community. And in my opinion, for a good teacher, is a good way to improve, to hear the other experience and maybe take suggestions and so on. So the exchange of experience for us is very important as a teacher engagement strategy, because
Yes.
if you want to be a good teacher.
Now a focus about innovation drivers. Innovator table we have as fundamental bricks for driving innovation, something that we perhaps I didn't see in other table, that is a teacher training. Or do you have? Do you have teacher training in your innovation drivers pillars? No? What's it? The Transform Leadership School. Oh, what nice. What a nice table. The Transform Leadership is the fundamental innovation driver. It's very nice. It's very nice, this, indeed. So what's about funding?
I don't know, but I doubt that the governments will put too much money into that at this stage.
The governmental, you say extra money, not the
Extra money is on the
funds
ordinary
of
funds for the
university.
university.
Extra money.
Yes.
The other relevant source of funds, in your opinion, should be or could be, should or could be EU?
I think that by, at least myself, by voting EU, I was considering that EU is funding initiatives at the regional level, which means, for example, the European Social Funds and Fund for Regional Development. This is a kind of target for innovative teaching. At present, as far as I know, it is impossible to give, let's say, digital activities funded under these funds. But this is, let's say, what should change. Only in-presence funds, as far as I know, in my region, can be funded by the European Social Fund. Yes. If the rule should be relaxed in order to allow for the European Social Fund to sponsor online initiatives, then that would be extremely important.
Yes, yes. We see that you trust, we trust also a little bit in private funds.
Maybe joint projects where we develop continuous training for companies, because I think
Good.
further education should be one of the things which can be adapted to MOOCs. And the companies would be interested not to have people getting out of their jobs for longer, but to stay online and to do much of the training in this case.
The internal funding, I see that the government might have some policy. For example, the fact that in our country there are sort of hub universities collecting students from all around the country. So instead of having a big Politecnico di Milano, big Politecnico di Torino, everyone in Italy moving to these places, why as a government don't we do something that enables people from outside, not the internal university, I think it's better it's a policy issue, the fact that we are producing something that is open, online, and available to people that are, as we heard in the MIT, they say, you can just come here for one semester.
Knowledge.
Yes. Open knowledge. So, and in this sense, the private issue, why do I have to finance an open thing? Why I can invest my money for my own business, I think. I'm not a private company, but so which kind of Europe do you want? People moving to the points of excellence in order to get a degree? I don't think this is a sustainable system in the long run.
Why regions are still a little bit on the windows?
I think, in my opinion, based on almost all the countries which I know, France, Italy, also the northern countries, the regions mainly fund up to K2, they fund until university. And they have very, very difficult positions to fund anything in the university, with the exception probably of some specific projects, which needs always to turn back into the community. So if the university will do something for a school, then they will get money. Yes. But if they want to do it for themselves, as we were discussing here, the digital transformation of the university itself, they will not give money because they can't usually. It's not that they will not want, but they can't.
Yes, but. Please.
As we said before, maybe it's probably the problem of the basin of attraction. I mean, for a university, the basin of attraction is not that of the region only. So why should the region finance? I mean, the point will be that of having the brand. So Lombardy region, for example, can put a logo on our MOOC, but it is not much. So it's much better to fund, to give funds to children or teenagers that are going in their own region. It's a problem of basins of attractions.
So I think that we have gathered a lot of reflections, suggestions, and ideas that I hope will be useful for everybody once coming back at home. We can finish here our workshop. I would like to thank really everybody for your support, your participation, and now we have a coffee break. Thank you very much. Bye.